blessed good evening to one and all. Here again at St. John Parish Church overlooking Pothouse Village and the East Coast. This is Pothouse Village here in St. John. You can see the East Coast here. You can see Bath Beach. Bath Beach is in St. John on the East Coast. Just below here, behind Pothouse. And you can see into St. Philip, which is southeast, with the Ragged Point Lighthouse. So this is the church here. The churchyard. This is the grave of our our fifth Prime Minister, David Thompson, who was born the 25th of December 1961 and died on the 23rd of October 2010. David Thompson was born in London, England, to Barbadian parents. White mother, black father, both are Barbadian. His mother, Margaret Knight, is still alive. She's about 93 or 94 now. David Thompson was more or less a Barbadian, the fifth Prime Minister of Barbados. All the East Coast here. The sundial here. The grave of the Haynes family, who were all planters. I will go down into this grave first. The grave of Thomas Henry Seeley. Thomas Henry Seeley, son of Sir John Seeley. Thomas Henry Seeley was buried upright. He said he wanted to be buried upright so that he could enjoy the view. Son of Sir John Seeley and Anne Isabella Seeley, born the 14th of January 1845 and died the 20th of June 1904. The grave of the Taylor family, Ronald Taylor. As I said before, they don't bury people in this churchyard anymore, except it is a by grave. The grave of the Haynes family, all planter class. These are all the who owned plantations in St. John. The grave of the Honorable Richard Haynes of Easy Hall Plantation in St. John, eldest son of the Honorable J.A. Haynes of Newcastle Plantation, both in St. John. Easy Hall and Newcastle Plantation are both in St. John. He died the 8th of May 1937 at the age of 81 years. In loving memory of Mary Howell Haynes of Newcastle Plantation, died the 22nd of June 1957 at the age of 97. She was the last of her family members to be alive today. East Coast here. Here lieth your grave. Here lieth your body of Ferdinando Palaeologus, descended from the emperor line of the last Christian emperors of Greece. Churchwarden of this parish from 1655 to 1656. Vestryman 20 years. Died the 3rd of October 1678. Ferdinando Palaeologus, buried upright. He was said that he was buried in the organ loft of the church and then later placed outside. St. John Parish Church is Gothic. St. John is the parish in which most of the white Barbadians originated from. The map showing you how to get around the church. The list of tombs in the church are The grave of Ivory Branch Bradshaw near McConney died the 30th of August 1974 at the age of 91, and her daughter Irish Branch Banachie, Silver Crown of Merit, died the 2nd of September 1988 at the age of 73 years. Irish Branch Banachie was the founder of the Andromeda Botanical Gardens in St. Joseph, which is just above Bathsheba. She was a horticulturist. She was an plant specialist. She was born in British Guyana. She was a Portuguese British Guyanese, but she lived in Barbados, and she lived in Barbados for a long time. She founded the Andromeda Gardens in the 1950s. When she died in 1988, the gardens was entrusted to the Barbados National Trust, which it still is today. Irish Branch Banachie married to Harry Bailey, of the Harry Bailey Observatories. Then later married to a Banachie from Scotland. The grave of the colored planter class over here. The colored tomb over here. Chase and Skinner families. Ethan Gollett, the grandfather of current leader of the opposition, Ralph Thorne, and he was also the grandfather of Sir Fred Gollett as well. The grave of Eustace C. Gill, husband of Marie Gill, born 1903 and died in 1993. And Bernard Leslie Barrow, born the 23rd of April, died the 23rd of April 1962 at 88 years. So these are all the color planter class here. He was the first, this man here, Charles Miller Austin, was the first black man to own a plantation in St. John and in Barbados. He owned Malvern Plantation in St. John, born the 26th of May 1857 and died the 11th of August 1942. And his wife Martha, born the 60th of September 1862 and died the 22nd of November 1948. And the grave of Henry Newell St. John, the grandfather of Sir Harold Bernard St. John, known to many as Bree St. John. He was Barbados' third prime minister, who served briefly. So now going through the churchyard now. In this immediate video, I will leave the churchyard. As I said before, they don't bury people in here anymore, except it is a boy grave. So the church is soon closing. The church is soon closing. Inside of the Gothic St. John Parish Church. And this is the organ console here. And this is the lovely organ, the lovely stained glass windows. So this is where the choir sits. You can see the lovely stained glass windows. I have a better camera now to steady the shot. Lovely stained glass windows here at St. John Parish Church. In memory, in memoriam, the Reverend William Leslie, first rector of St. John from 1653 to 1676, grandson of the 5th Laird of King Craigie, and great-grandson by his grandmother of John Leslie, 8th Baron of Balquin. Alvin E. Simmons, rector of St. John from 1951 to 62. Dudley Moore, rector of this parish from 1943 to 1950. Canon and Rodin. Charles Hunt, Clement Culpin from 1928 to 1943, and Charles Hunt from 1904 to 1925. See the lovely Barbados. So this is the pipe organ here. Lovely organ console. Normally they would have the organist, the young fella, the youngster, Troy, will be here to serenade the tourists and the visitors as they come to St. John. But it is not the case today. He's not here today. The pipes for the organ here. The statue of Madonna and Child with the infant St. John beneath her feet. Some tombs are beneath our feet as well. Marble baptismal font. A history of St. John Parish Church. First erected in 1645, destroyed by fire and rebuilt in 1676, destroyed by hurricane and rededicated in 1836. So now leaving the church of St. John, the rectory next door, which is supposed to be the priest's official residence. Oh, before I go, let me show you all the graves. I'll show you all the graves already. This view, sorry. The view of the East Coast. The East Coast here. And this is church view on Clifton Hall in St. John below here. And you can see all the East Coast, southeasterly, northeasterly, with St. John, a bit of St. John, St. Joseph, and St. Andrew. It's the Scotland district of Barbados. St. John Parish Church. St. John is the parish in which most of the white Barbadian population originated. Most of them, the ancestors came from Scotland and Ireland, who came to Barbados as indentured servants back in the 1600s, 16, 17, 18, and early 1900s. The history of the rectory here, which was built in 1679 on the foundation of an earlier house. The rectory here. This bit is a little bit of Clifton Hall and Church View and Martin's Bay in St. John, and part of St. Joseph as well. Now, heading back over to the church cemetery side. So this is the church here again. The church here. And pathways to the church. So now heading away from the church, taking you guys over to the church cemetery. Now going over to the church cemetery, which is 700 meters away from the church. St. John Parish Church. Cemetery. This is an extension of the church's burial ground. Since the church has no more space to bury the people, is the reason why they bring them extended the cemetery over here. This road will lead you back to St. John Primary School, which is just over here. Over here, Cosington College, Bath Beach, Lodge School, that side of St. John. This is the church cemetery over here. This was the lead you back to Pool, Four Roads, Gore Hill, and back into St. John. The church cemetery, where the people are now laid to rest since the cemetery. Yeah. St. John's Churchyard. This is the church cemetery over here. Oh, the churchyard, the church cemetery. So this is where Trevor Marshall, the historian Trevor Marshall, will be laid to rest here in this cemetery. Trevor Marshall will be laid to rest here, as well as Cow Williams, known as Sir Charles Orkney Williams, COW. He is also laid to rest here. The grave of former church choir member Inege. She could sing really sweetly. She is laid to rest here. Her two grandchildren went to school with me, both one in primary and one in secondary. Her husband, George Travagay, is also laid to rest here as well. So this is the church cemetery. Corbin and Mary's grave here. This is a beautiful country church, St. John Parish Church. St. John Primary School over here. That's good, all St. John. St. John's Primary School. The school here, St. John Primary School, was closed because of environmental issues. So they had to close the school. This road ahead of me down here will lead you back to Messiah Street via the large school, which is one of Barbados' top and older secondary schools, large school down here, Messiah Street, and they will lead you back to St. John, about St. Philip as well. You can get it from down here. And this way back to Colleton Road in St. John, Cliff Cottage, Bath Beach, Pleasanton College, Sergeant Street, all in St. John. From here, inside the St. John Primary School. I'm in the countryside at the moment, to the east of the island. And the polyclinic here, the David Thompson Polyclinic. The polyclinic here. David Thompson Health and Social Services Complex. Over here. You can see all the East Coast from here, all over here is Barbados Village. So, thank you guys for watching now. I will conclude my video in this corner here. Thanks for watching now, and have a blessed and a wonderful evening.